We are live, and tonight we are talking about
what's going to happen. Is the world going to end when September comes with JobKeeper?
The number one question we are getting asked as real estate agents at the moment is, and you and I pretty concur on this tonight. Yep. The number one question that we're getting asked as salespeople in the industry is, what do we reckon is going to happen in September?
Yep.
And should we wait until after September, which probably then starts to look like January, February, if you're going to wait?
Yeah.
Over to you, STEVAN BUBALO.
Yeah, look, it's a big, like Mark said, something we're hearing literally every single day now from property buyers. They're saying, look, guys, I'm just going to wait. The media is telling me that the JobKeeper is going to end and the world's going to end. The real estate world's going to crash, and I'm going to cash in at that point. And, Mark and I have both got our opinions on it. We're pretty much on the same wavelength, but, we're always of the opinion that you should buy a property when you're ready to buy a property. And we were talking about, even from a government's perspective, they're not really going to let us fall apart.
Now, look, the reality is we're going to spruik property.
Yeah.
That's the reality. Okay. But there's also the reality of the truths that are out there that we were talking about. So one thing that we're having a chat about as a team, so we meet up on every Monday morning, we meet as a sales team, we talk about what's happening within the marketplace. One thing that we're all talking about in the marketplace at the moment is the government did a really good job at saving, helping, underpinning, supporting us through COVID, right?
Yeah.
So big help.
Us as Australia, as the economy, as everybody. It's all Australians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to move meter on?
No, are you in there?
You got to go over a bit.
You're kind of on the edge.
Man. I don't care if the restrictions are lifted today. Come on, get over there. So they did a great job, right, guys? So you got to, let's have a look at the facts. The facts. The facts is the government came in and spent $330 billion to keep us going till September.
Yep.
So every single time there is a save or there is good news, it seems like there is more. It's like, that's great news, but, right? So first, we don't know how bad this curve is going to be.
Yep.
We haven't got to hear yet, but okay, we've started, we're starting to flatten the curve, but. And then now, so now the big but's the September. What's after September? And there's always a bloody but.
Always. And there always has been. We had the GFC, but there was a but.
But we did it. We got out. We came out of GFC 1.
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
It was hard work. Bit of suffer, bit of pain, came out of it.
Yep.
Property market still plodded on, did well. GFC 2. So the global financial crisis had a knock on the chin again.
Yep.
In the 90s, we had a recession, early 90s. So the reality is that albeit there is always some sort of boom, some sort of bust. There's always some sort of leveler, but we always come good.
Yeah. And we were talking about it. I know it's too soon to jump to the point, but we were saying that, firstly, look at the great job the government's done. It's kept the country going. People are divided with their opinions. There always will be. But the truth of the fact is that the country's kept going. Look at retail's opening back up. I've got some people that I know very close to me that work in the retail sector.
Yeah, tell us.
And last week, they pretty much went back to full-time trade, and the equivalent of turnover in revenue that they were doing is basically equivalent to the week that they have to the lead up of Christmas. So the amount of stock that they were moving was equal to that, lead up to Christmas Eve. So monster week in trade. And from what I hear, they're not the only one. So the public's coming back to play. And we're all feeling better about ourselves. And we were even talking about, a lot of people are kind of coming out and we're spending money on a lot of different things, but we kind of feel good about spending money at the moment because we think, we're helping the retailer, we're helping the person working in the store. So I think retail's back. People are quite positive, but also the government's almost got, I used the word blueprint earlier, that should there be an event in the future, this whole COVID thing, it would be foolish to think that we have not learnt anything from it as a country. As a nation.
Yep.
And there's going to be processes now that they can put into place in the future to protect us should there be another, economic hiccup.
But we always come out fighting.
We always do.
We always come out fighting. There's a perfect example of 3 or 4 perfect examples where we've been faced with a challenge, and there's 3 or 4 perfect examples where we've come out fighting.
Yeah,
we are Australians. We are resilient. We are strong. Maybe because we're an island, we're tougher. We don't rely on other people as much. Maybe that's helped us with the virus just quietly a little bit as well.
Yeah,
but definitely, I do see that. Let me just bring up those comments, guys. I do see that there is that. Just test with Angelo. Just make sure, Ange, if you could give us a bit of feedback that you can hear us clearly and see us on the Novak channel. I'm a bit worried about it, but it looks like we're fine.
Yep.
So, okay, facts going into COVID-19, coming out of COVID-19, the curve is flat.
Yeah, we can say that pretty comfortably. You can see by the number of cases they're bringing out, the media has been very good about portraying that information to us.
Even after the first release of opening up cafes for small numbers, opening up things to the public, the curve is still flat. Right? So that's given me confidence that it's going to stay flat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, guys and girls, it doesn't hold back the fact that come September is at Armageddon financially. So the $350 million of subsidies has come in so many different ways. $1 billion, has come in so many different ways. Our national debt currently is up at about $550 billion. People are saying this is crazy. What are we going to do in September? I've got some good news. Working off the fact we're coming into the golden quarter. So coming in September, people are literally like bears. As real estate agent, and we're not giving financial advice, our observations of what we see as real estate agents, people are like bears. So what actually happens is through that winter period, what people actually start to do is through that winter period, they hibernate. So they're like a bear. They go into their cave. They nestle. They do that stuff. Beach suburb.
Yep.
Summer.
Everyone's out. We want to enjoy ourselves. We want to look good. And traditionally, that's when we see activity.
Yep.
That's when our cycles really pump. Our rental cycles through the roof. October, November.
People are more positive.
Yep.
About themselves. We're coming into a summer. So now, if you're in hospitalities have it dubbed as the golden quarter. That September, that October, November, December is the golden quarter for hospitality. So I think the government's timed it quite well, whether that's a fluke or whether that's for real. But I think they've timed it really well that they're coming into the golden period. Spending's going to be up.
Yeah.
I went shopping yesterday and bought a jacket.
Nice. Was it like Mark Conway's jacket from last week?
No, it wasn't as sporty as that. No, he had the hot pink jacket last week. If anyone missed it, watch it. It was a diesel jacket, it was a bomber jacket. Anyway, my thinking was when I was going through the store, this is me, and I swear there are other people out there, and I swear that most people out there would think like this. I felt a pent-up thing as in I'm supporting business, I'm supporting retailers. Yep. I haven't shopped for bloody ages. I deserve to buy something because I haven't, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, I haven't been out. And that's your retailer that you're speaking with, as well as the retailer. We had a retailer from the Ringer Mall, Michael, who does the suit, our suit guy. They're saying it's busy in retailing. It's been interesting because he's going against the grain in retailing. I don't know, man. I reckon, guys, keep an eye out because I believe when everyone runs south, it's a good time to run north. We're definitely hearing it from buyers out there saying they're going to hold back.
Yep.
Now, they're holding back because they're just guessing or they're speculating. What about my 3-foot throw? We'll talk about before.
I think you best explain that. Mark's got the theory of the 3-foot throw. God, say that fast. A 3-foot throw. And basically, you're going to correct me if I get it wrong.
Yeah.
You use the analogy of the old man playing the ring toss game or something.
Yeah, ring toss.
Ring toss.
Toss
call
ring.
It ring toss ring. And he throws the ring out, and it's just 3 steps forward. And he gets to it. He gets to that day, throws it out again, another 3 steps forward. So it's not the fact that he's overthinking the whole game. He's just taking those 3 steps, getting to where he needs to be, assessing the situation, and moving forwards with another 3 steps. And that's, like we were saying, a really clever way to look at this and a clever way to move forwards. Yeah, was that pretty good?
It's really good, man.
What was the game called? Ring toss?
I don't know. It's spot on, eh?
Yeah, but it's right. And I think for a lot of people as well, particularly if you're a buyer, they're saying, look, the market, if this JobKeeper comes off in a negative manner, what makes you think as a buyer that the bank's not going to be affected and they're going to change your lending? Like, a lot of people think I'm going to be in the same position today, but the rest of the market's going to come down. But I'm not. I'm going to stay where I am. That doesn't go in line with logic either. If something comes down here, then certainly your situation's going to come down too. So,
isn't it called JobKeeper?
Job seeker, keeper. My bad, keeper.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but they brought it because people lost their jobs.
Yeah,
People were losing their jobs because everywhere was being closed down by the government. Now everywhere is being opened up by the government. Why do they need JobKeeper anymore? So I don't see why there should be a massive correction in the market with people not going back to how business was. Like, at the end of the day, I don't think people are going to consume like they used to consume, the products they used to consume, but I think people will consume.
Yeah.
So they're not going to go spending on, frivolously or silly, but I think they will go spending on things that are essential.
Yeah.
Things that are essential are food, shelter.
That's about it.
R&R.
R&R a little bit, yeah.
So, can't help but think, guys, it's going to go back to normal. I'd love to know your thoughts. Let's have a look at what we got here. Rosie Sullivan, good evening to you, Lezio. There is a lot of people in the lower side of the balance and lots of people in the higher side of the balance. It's now slowly getting back to normal. I can feel that for sure.
Yeah.
Mr. Angelo Gutsios, good evening. All clear. Thank you. Sue, hello. Debbie, hello. And g'day to everyone else out there as well. Great audience tonight.
But I don't think also I was going to say that with this JobKeeper payment, look, it's not as if they're just going to stop it overnight and that's it and they're going to walk away from it. If the economy is in a position where it's recovering slowly, then no doubt they're going to taper this back slowly. They might bring into play another initiative just to cover us, maybe for an extra few months. But you're right. I said people coming back to work. I know not everyone's going back to work straight away and revenue's not going to turn around overnight, but I find it hard to think that by the end of the year, the majority of us will be back at work. And
don't they have 90 billion up their sleeve because they made a mistake?
The accounting error.
Their accounting error?
Yeah.
They got a little bit in the kitty on a bad accounting error.
Yeah.
So that could possibly be good.
Yeah.
So future of property, the way property is going to be looking going into 2021, we talked about some of the truths that we're seeing in the marketplace, some of the speculation. We've addressed a lot of negative stuff. So we've addressed about, people's negative connotations. What are people's positive connotations that are like things that we're working with in the moment?
I think positive connotations are that I know for us, as a matter of fact, is that this whole COVID situation allowed for agents like you and I, we kind of went back to some of the basics with how we communicate with buyers, how we were showing properties. And I think buyers have really respected that as well. They're getting better communication from agents in the marketplace, but it's a great window to buy property right now. Yes, it's come back. Yes, things will improve and the market might come back a little bit more, but odds are it's going to grow, a lot quicker than it's going to come down. So I think it's a great buying window. And I know we're spruiking real estate. I'm spruiking real estate, but the way I see it is a great buying opportunity right now. The market's going to pick back up. The rental cycle, no doubt, will bounce back shortly. You're in a good position.
Okay, don't buy.
Don't buy. What's if you don't buy?
Don't buy property. Don't buy this year.
Yeah.
Don't buy the year after. So you just put it on ice for 12 months. Don't do anything for 12 months. So we're going to go into July next year. The reality is you're paying the same.
Paying the same.
Paying less. Some of the CBA, some of the banks are saying 30 to 40% less, speculating. So you might buy for cheaper.
You might buy for cheaper. What if it goes the other way? You'll pay more.
Yeah.
It's as easily, it can easily swing either way. And I know the media is confusing people right now. It's their job to sell column space and airtime. But you're right. Look, you could buy for cheaper. You could, but if you're in there for 10, 15, 20 years, it doesn't matter until you sell the property anyway.
Okay, so now we're on to something different. Essentially, look at the motivation of the property purchase.
Absolutely.
Is the motivation of the property purchase to go in for 1 year or 30 years? 1 year or 10 years? 1 year or 20 years? 1 year or 5 years? So at the end of the day,
what's the outcome?
has property market ever dipped like that? Ever? No. So we've never actually seen a 30-40% correction. So getting to September, not buying, the way it's been rallying the last couple of weeks, my opinion is by September, you're paying more. Freeze frame this one. I reckon by September, you're going to be paying more for a property. If there is a correction that comes in the happy time of the year, Christmas is around the corner, sun's out, everyone's on the beaches, everyone's enjoying the life that they once had again.
Mm-hmm.
Are they going to be retracting on their spending natures? I don't think so.
No. And one thing, I'll ask you a question. In all your years of real estate, have you ever advised a client to buy a property for 1 year and sell it the year after? We don't do it.
Well, in a good and bad market, they generally lose money.
Yeah. So it's even in a red hot market, you wouldn't say that's a great idea to go out and buy a property with the ambition to sell it in 12 months.
We got a 4% stamp duty, and you got a 2% agent fee. You're straight away 6% behind, even in a good market. To absorb that,
in a hot market, just to break even.
Yeah.
So I think real estate, definitely is. Look, I'm not making your decisions, but should be viewed as as medium to long term hold. And if we look at the data going back, it's always been quite positive.
And that's right. If you look at, guys and girls, if you're looking at property market Sydney, property market Northern Beaches in particular, where we operate, if you're looking at that market, I find it pretty hard to find a correction greater than 10%. And I'm going back 50 years. So COVID wasn't as bad as we thought. COVID wasn't as bad as we thought, health and medical wise, but the spook is it may be really bad economy wise, but it's up to you guys. It's up to the people out there. It's up to us, the Australians, to decide how deep this economy thing is going to cut, or how, because I think there's that saying, if you think it, it'll grow. I've been saying that all day, haven't I?
Yeah, a couple times.
So I think are Australians, what Australians going to think? If if people are in particular thinking, yes, there's going to be a big correction, often that can happen against the odds. Do you know what I mean?
We've seen it. We've seen markets turn around quickly before.
Well, this was incredible. This year we've lost 5% off the property market at least.
Yeah.
Which happened there was 2 million people that lost their jobs within a week. So it was just this callous craziness.
Yeah. And generally, like when I think about it and chime in market, normally when we have a correction in the marketplace, it's normally, from what I've seen, due to lending. It's some kind of lending restriction or some change in the marketplace. GFC, was maybe a bit different, but different.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? It's interesting when you don't know why it's happening. And I found that the GFC, we're looking to America, we're looking to other countries, and we're having a good look around thinking, why is this happening, this cycle, this to us and everything? It's very interesting. You know what I like about Australians, and I used the words puppets before, which probably wasn't a right word when I was talking to Steve, but we've been really good at listening to our government. Now, whether that's a good or a bad thing, like we can see what's happening in America at the moment, very sensitive, very tumultuous. We don't seem to be of that. We don't seem to have those clear and present dangers of civil unrest. That's a gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't seem to have the risks of the health side of things. That's what we've proven. We've proven to be able to listen if our government says we do. That's big. And I think the government guys don't forget has still got a little bit of interest up their sleeves. They haven't played all their cards with interest rates.
Yeah, that's right. Still a little bit of room there. What are we saying? Like, there's still 2% variable there that they can play with if they need to play with. But you're right. Like, with the government, I'm Serbian, so normally I'm anti-government, but they've done a good job. You can't knock them for anything. And they told us social distance. They made the right things, and a lot of people weren't happy about it. But we're in a good position now. And if anything, they've learned, okay, these strategies have worked or have not worked. And come September, if we're in a similar position, they'll be implementing those strategies, I feel, again, to protect us as Australians. And they've done well.
Best thing out of COVID. Best thing out of COVID.
Best thing out of COVID.
We said we couldn't have had this conversation 4 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago.
No.
It was. But I just saw it in the Peninsula Living magazine, a local rag that we've got. Best thing out of COVID.
What did they say?
Oh, there was mixed things. The mayor made a comment saying his kids, one loved studying, one didn't love studying. It's from home, togetherness, all that stuff. Everyone was different. What do you reckon?
At
Well,
home,
for you guys, what was the best thing for you through COVID?
Through COVID was obviously the kids were at home a little bit more, so they spend a bit more time with them. But you know what? I think also you appreciate some of the other things as well in life. Like, I'm blessed with good family. I know you are too, Mark. And you worry about the older people in your life. You probably speak to them a bit more than you did beforehand, or you have that sense of caring a little bit more. So from a personal perspective, it was having family around more, which was great. And I think everybody, like as Australians, kind of found a common cause to come together. Like, everyone was pretty respectful of each other. Yeah, it kind of brought people together.
Are you crying? There's tears in his eyes, guys.
It's a
there
light.
Is, I swear there's tears. There is tears. There's a bit of tears
like
there. No, there is. Yeah, keep going. I like it. I like the emotion.
It's okay. Yeah. But yeah, like, there was some unity there and some people coming together. That's what I think I saw. And professionally,
I'd kiss and hug you if I could.
I know. Don't.
Yeah.
We're alive. There's still social distancing. But professionally, I really enjoyed going back and working with buyers one-on-one and doing that kind of stuff. So I like that.
That was beautiful, man.
Go, now your turn.
Best thing out of COVID, and the things that I reckon are going to keep people pumping, family, hanging out with the fam, having family close, real family, real close, money. I think being more prudent with spending and money.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Job security. I think I'm very nice to people in Woolworths and Coles now.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm very nice to public service people, the utmost respect for people in hospitals, doctors and things like that. So doctors used to be the people that made a lot of money. I've changed my opinion of that. They are the people that are there when you need them, and they're built to help people. So there's a lot of things. I think for me, there was just so much stuff. There wasn't one thing that I didn't reevaluate through COVID-19. And I reckon going into September, I've got this brand new set of lessons that I've learned in life, that I was forced to learn in life. And I'm really excited to use those tools into 2020. And that's why I just can't help to think that it's going to be a shitty property market or a shitty economy coming out of that, because there's that pent-up demand. People who can save money have saved money, and that's probably more the majority than the minority. Feel very bad for the minority who are affected, but the majority who didn't lose jobs, I think, have been very, very prudent with their spending.
Yeah.
There's going to be that pent-up demand to go out and buy shit. We're keeping the money in Australia. I think that's a big thing.
That's a good point.
So I've got to tell you guys, when I saw Australian made for the last 20 years of my life, Australian made has 1,000 times more relevance to me in the last 8 weeks than what it had for me in the last 20 years.
Before.
Yeah. Like, if I can spend it in a local coffee shop, if I can buy something that's made in Australia, I'm forging towards that. Even if it comes to travel, we know we're fortunate that we travel, but even now the appetite for travel internationally is so far it's gone. And for me personally, I really want to see part of Australia more so. It's my country, it's my home, and the second thing is it's keeping that money local. It's keeping that money circulated.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I like that. That's a good point. Good point. But I think we're all better for it, to be honest. We're all better. We're a little bit more tolerant of each other. And it was common cause. That's what I think it was. It was a common cause that brought everyone together. And it's been tougher for some than others, but everybody's kind of doing their best to help everyone out. I'm proud of that.
So wrapping that around property.
Yeah.
And learning what those learnings that we've had wrapping around property, food shelter. So guys and girls, if you do have the ability to buy, if you need to buy an investment property, if you need to buy a home, it is irrelevant months, or it is what's relevant is years. And when we're talking years, it's 5, 10, 15 years. If you need to do it, it is a great time to do it. If the banks are going to give the money to you, take it with both hands, do it, but be sure you're not spending out of your means. Be sure you're not spending out of your means, because I know sometimes I'll get people having a hack at me for spruiking. Be sure it's within your means. There is very, very good buying. Pricing has been discounted to where it was before, particularly with commercial properties. We've seen them come off more like 10 to 15% with commercial purchases. Renting's come off as well, and I think it's a very good time to do an upgrade in the rental market at the moment. Very, very good time.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, it's true. As a tenant, you mean? Or
as a tenant?
Yeah.
I think if you're a tenant and you're blessed and fortunate enough where you can increase your house size because you need the size because you've got the kids, or you're working from home, there's that necessity for a larger home. It is an absolutely astonishing. I've never seen a better value offering in the rental marketplace than what I've seen in the last 2 months. And I've been an agent for over 20, 25 years. So that's very, very compelling. So if you can consume real estate product, if you can consume real estate, albeit rentals or sales, commercial or residential, the value is definitely there, but the key seems to be lending.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good advice.
Interesting stuff. Hey guys, any questions out there, guys? Anything made in Serbia? Yes. You have there's Serbian Kmart.
Serbian Kmart. It's like a butter.
Go to the deli in DY. There's a deli on Redmond Road.
Euromart, I think.
Euromart, very good Serbian food.
Yep.
Martin Wong, how are you, legend? Michael, we spoke about you earlier. Pierce Van Hamburg, g'day, buddy. Been watching your stuff. Good stuff out there. Hugh, g'day to you. They realise they don't support, they will disappear. Hugh's a guy that got unbelievable value in the marketplace at the moment, and congrats to you. Chris Andrews, g'day. Australia, we need to embrace it and each other from social distancing, of course. It's true, guys. So, guys, have a wonderful night. Thank you very, very much for your support. Let's forge forward into September. And work through it, and then look back and go, where the hell did that go? Just like we looked back on March and April, 2 very stressful months for a lot of people, but Australians stuck together, the government hunkered down, Aussies hunkered down, we pushed through it and did what we do. That's what's going to happen in September again. I can guarantee you everyone's going to get honest, hunker down. If it's hard times, they'll get through it. If it's good times, they'll get through it. It's a positive time of the year being summer. I really got to stress that. For people in the hospitality, it's the golden quarter. It's that October, November, December in hospitality is the golden quarter. People are going to explode into restaurants and consume great food in restaurants because they haven't had it almost for the entire year of 2020.
Yep. That's great.
Have a great night, guys. Anything else, Steve, before we sign off?
Thank you. Everyone have a good night.
Love you.
Watching.
Love you, everyone. See you later. Take care.
See you soon.
Bye.